Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Salient Demo Series event. This is the May 2023 edition. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it. This is where we bring you all the latest product news and updates related to Salient and the Complete View product line. So a couple of things before we begin. Take a moment in your GoToMeeting panel and locate the question box, okay? At any point during the presentation, type a question in that box and we will review those at the end of the event. If for whatever reason we don't get to your question, we'll follow up by email after the event. So please take a moment to take a look at that. And also, two people will have the chance to win a $100 gift card today. On some point during the presentation, we will show a secret code. Type that into the question box, and the first two people to get it will ship you out a gift card. You'll get it by next week. So here we go. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with Salient, just a little background on us. Salient manufactures Complete View video management software. That's our main research and development focus. It is enterprise-grade video management software. It deploys in the traditional sense on site and is also cloud connected. We have been doing this since 1995. It's a very rich and feature developed product line. We have over 200 partners and a global footprint of installations. Now, if you enjoy the content from today's broadcast, or you have a colleague that may benefit, one of the things you can do is connect with a Salient expert for a one-on-one demo. So if you go to resources.salientsys.com/demo, we will schedule a one-on-one demo and go in depth, evaluate your specific circumstances, and answer all of your specific questions. So take a moment, take a screenshot of that, or type the URL in a browser so you can schedule that after today's event. So today's agenda, we're going to cover some of the latest and greatest features of Complete View version 7. We're going to do some demonstrations of those features. We're also going to talk about Salient Cloud Services. This is how you connect the Complete View VMS to the cloud, gain remote access. You can do anything that you can normally do in Complete View via the cloud connection. It's a super powerful feature set. We also have some updates to our Power Protect NVR appliance line. So I'm going to go through those, and then at the end, we'll cover all the questions. Again, if you haven't taken a moment to do so, locate the questions box in the GoToMeeting panel. At any point, type a question there. That's also the spot where you can type in the secret code for a chance to win two of $100 gift cards on today's event. All right, so here we go. The first topic we're going to cover are some of the features from Complete View version 7.2. This was released in January of this year. We have the latest and greatest version that we just released, Complete View 7.3. We'll cover that in a moment. So with 7.2, we have some exciting features, faster motion detection performance. So if you use server-based motion detection, you can also use camera-based motion detection with Complete View. But if you use server-based motion detection, the processing of that motion detection is dramatically enhanced. This also applies to some of the investigation capabilities within Complete View. We have a feature called Smart Search. You may be familiar with it. This is where you highlight a specific area of a camera's field of view, and you can search for activity just in that area on already recorded video. It's dramatically faster. We have the ability to reorder cameras for longtime users of Complete View. One of the architectural elements of the system that you're familiar with is each camera is assigned a number, and those numbers tie into the recorded footage for those cameras. So if you delete or move a camera, it can change other camera numbers in the system, and any ramifications of that have been resolved in Complete View 7.2. We also had an exciting feature called Web Views. Web Views gives you the ability to bring in HTML content. That can be from some integrated system. It can also be from any web page where you might have specific types of information your security operators need to access. You can now securely bring that into the Complete View VMS for a single pane of glass experience. So let's explore those features. So first, with moving cameras, we have added the ability to move cameras up or down in the camera list without losing access to their existing recordings. So as I alluded to, one of the architectural elements, longtime architectural elements, Complete View, is that each camera is assigned a number. The first camera you install in the system is going to be camera number 1. The second camera is going to be camera number 2. Those numbers are associated to the recordings of Complete View. So for instance, if I decided that I want camera number 1 to be in position 2, right? Camera number 1 now becomes camera number 2. Camera number 2 now becomes camera number 1. Well, the recorded footage from camera number 1 is still associated to that number 1. So even though you move the camera, the footage with the previous camera remains. That has been resolved in Complete View. The other thing that this affects is if you delete cameras. For example, if they're in the middle of the list, let's say you have 50 cameras on the server, and you delete camera 25. Well, now 26 becomes 25, and 27 becomes 26. And that would affect those corresponding recordings. So you don't have to worry about that anymore with Complete View version 7.2. Under the hood, we've developed a GUI assignment mechanism. So each camera is associated with a GUID. I think I said GUI, pardon me. Each camera is associated with a GUID, a global unique identifier, and that allows the cameras now to work universally without respect to what actual camera number they're assigned in the system. One thing to note on that, now we still have camera numbers in the system. Our SDK has been enhanced to support GUID-based camera addressing. One of the things you want to note is that not all third-party integrations are necessarily updated to take advantage of this. So all the existing third-party integrations will continue to work because, again, we continue to support the camera IDs and plan to do that in perpetuity. However, if you move a camera in Complete View, although it won't affect Complete View, the camera ID will be different on that camera. So if you have it associated to a third-party system, like some sort of video analytics or access control, you may have to make an update to the integration configuration to allow the correct camera to be followed in the integrated system, okay? So that's one thing to take note. Again, if anybody has any questions, just type them in the questions box. Here's what that looks like. So here we are in Complete View. You're looking at a screenshot, and we're in the configure module. And it's very easy to move cameras around, but again, now you can do it without any ramifications in the system. So if you take a look up here, there's that move up, down button. You can also delete cameras. There's a capability to delete cameras if you right click on a camera in the list. If you look at the left-hand side where you see the navigation panel, you can see under recording servers, we're highlighted on cameras right now. I can come to any of these cameras, right click and choose delete. And again, the recordings that correspond to the camera will move along with the camera ID. Now let's talk about the motion detection performance enhancements. We made some dramatic beneficial enhancements to the algorithms that detect motion or pixel changes within Complete View. And we did some testing on that. One of the exciting things is that this not only affects server-based motion detection, but all users of Complete View, whether or not you use server-based motion detection, may at some point need to use the Smart Search feature. Smart Search uses those same sets of algorithms, just applies them to recorded video. So again, even if you're not a user of server-based motion detection, this will enhance your investigation experience. In fact, we've found that Smart Search performs up to 40% faster. So we did a test with an older version of Complete View in a 2 megapixel 1080p resolution video stream. We did a Smart Search in an hour of video, and that took 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Then we upgraded to Complete View 7.2. Again, these features carry forward to Complete View 7.3, the latest version we'll cover in a minute. And we did a search on the exact same camera, on the exact same hour of video. We set up the exact same search window. And with just the change in software versions, that 9 minutes and 4 seconds went all the way down to 5 minutes and 26 seconds, making it a much, much more practical feature to use for investigations of recorded video, 40% faster. We also found in a similar test with live server-based video motion detection, a dramatic change in CPU usage, okay? So again, we set up a system with 1080p video streams. We set up a series of motion detection zones on those video streams. The CPU consumption in an older version of Complete View was 69.84%. By just upgrading to version 7.2 or later, we got that down to 50.58%, a 28% improvement just by adjusting the version, just by updating to the latest and greatest version of Complete View. Okay, we also in this version added a web views capability. So what does that give you the ability to do? You can add any HTML5 website into the desktop client of Complete View. Users can then access those websites if they're permission to do so. Let's take a look at what that would look like in the interface. So here's a screenshot. First thing you want to do, take a look at the lower right-hand corner of that screenshot. So you can see, if you're familiar with the kind of default layout of the desktop client, we're in the live view screen where you see live video, you see maps, and typically in the lower left-hand corner, what we would see is a list of events that have occurred on cameras coming in the system. You click on those events, see the video. Well, in that same area of the desktop client, you can now look at a web view. And in this case, we're looking at a third-party integrated video analytic. It's called Sensors, a really cool analytics system built in integrated with Complete View. So this particular user account has permission to view that Sensors web view. Then what you can do is you can undock that web view and pull it out in a separate window. So now imagine in your mind's eye a multi-monitor display or video wall. You want to have one screen with live video views. You want to have another screen where you're performing investigations, maybe a third screen where you're using analytics, or you're viewing weather radar services or news feeds or something of that nature. You can do that with the web views feature, okay? One of the cool applications is it provides a single pane of glass for certain integrated systems, okay? So there's a lot of integrated systems, whether it's access control or video analytics that have a web-based interface. You can now bring those directly into the Complete View desktop client, again, for a single pane of glass experience. So some examples would be like BriefCam video analytics, Sensors, which is the image that you see on the slide here. Iron, that's an excellent video analytics system, kind of provides some license plate recognition, advanced search capabilities, and so forth. In fact, I'll kind of show that to you when I do a web views demonstration here in a few moments. Some other applications bring in weather, news, any other types of information you need for emergency response. This is all completely secure. You can permission it according to the user, right? So you can have a whole bunch of web views configured, and you can give certain users, based upon their function or role, access to particular web views. You can enable, disable audio for the website. Users won't have the ability to surf except for within that website domain, right? So you can't click on where it says, if you can see in the screenshot, I'll point to it with the mouse up here, sensors.live. You can't click that and type in Google or Facebook or YouTube or anything of that nature. So it's completely secure. You don't have to worry about users using the system as a way to surf the web when they should be watching video feeds. All right, so that covers the Complete View 7.2 feature set. Again, all those features carry into Complete View 7.3 along with all the other features of Complete View. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them into that questions box. Now we're going to take a look at the latest and greatest feature set that we just released in version 7.3. And so what are those features? We have added enhanced on-VIF camera analytics capability. Our engineers took a lot of effort and made sure that we collect the full range of analytic events from any connected on-VIF camera. There's always little nuances when you're dealing with on-VIF instead of direct driver integrations, and we worked out those nuances. We've also enhanced it beyond that. So with any of those camera analytic events, we usually, when an event occurs and that triggers a corresponding recording Complete View, we will record a description of the event. Now, some of these descriptions that come from the cameras, they're not really what I would call user-friendly. So you can add in your own event alias, your own text, to further define that event. Makes it easy for operators and investigators to search on those events in the future. We have an overall enhanced playback experience. We took a lot of time and effort to enhance the performance, the functionality, the look and feel of the playback. I'm going to demonstrate that to you here in a few minutes. We're also just came out with a recording gap finder. This is a separate application from Complete View. In fact, you can see a screenshot of it in the slide here, and I'll cover that a little later in the presentation. But it does exactly what the name implies. You can point it at your Complete View management server. It will then detect all of the recording servers and sites in your system. You can then run a scan across your entire deployment and identify any gaps in recording. So if you're in a regulated industry where there's requirements to have a certain amount of video surveillance footage for a certain period of time, you can take proactive measures and report on any gaps in that video using this tool very, very easily. Also, Complete View's desktop client has been updated and certified to support Windows 11. So if you're using Windows 11 in your deployment, desktop client will support that with Complete View 7.3. Okay, So let's take a look at the camera analytic event support that has been enhanced. This applies to cameras connected with the OnVIF driver. And what you're taking a look at, the screenshot there on the screen is this is the traditional but now enhanced event configuration screen when you're configuring a camera in Complete View. Okay, so you can see on the screen there, there's categories of events, then there's a particular event name, a sub-event name. These are all details that we collect automatically from the camera. So when you set up an OnVIF camera Complete View, we will use API hooks to reach out to that camera, get a list of all of the various events that Complete View can report on, and we'll record those. So we get all the events that the camera can generate. You can set a friendly name and alias for each event, okay? So take a look at that. You can see at the screenshot that just showed up there, there is a SI sound detector aggression event, and we want to report on that in Complete View. But SI sound detector underscore aggression is not particularly friendly for a video surveillance operator or investigator to uncover what that means. So we put in this event alias, the word fight, and that word fight then shows up when the event occurs in Complete View. You can search on the word fight, you don't have to search on SIS sound detector aggression. So it's a real significant enhancement to the usability down to the operator level in the product. Events don't need to be tied to recording. We can detect the events simply by enabling them. We will show when the event occurs, but it doesn't have to trigger a corresponding recording in Complete View. You can still trigger a corresponding recording in Complete View, but you don't have to if you just want to collect that event information, have it show up in Complete View, have your system aware of that, and we will record that information, okay? And there's a new functionality, so take a look at that new screenshot that showed up in the foreground there. You can see this is if you're familiar with investigations in Complete View, one of the investigation capabilities is called search by list. We have enhanced that search by list and added an event search and a list clip search. There's a filter capability that allows you to type in keyword text, and it will filter all of the events, recorded events that have occurred on the camera by those keywords. So as an example, in the context that we're speaking about here, if you had that fight scenario, I could type the word fight into the filter search area, and only the recorded events with the word fight would show up, allowing me to narrow my search criteria down just to the specific pieces of evidence I wanted to review. But the event search provides a list of events that includes the alias in the description. So if you're looking for just, let's say you're recording scheduled video, but you're also recording on event like an alarm or a motion event, you want to filter down just to the video with activity. Very simple to do that with the event search capability in Complete View. All right, now that's not the only playback screen that we enhanced. We also did an overall overhaul, that's a little play on words there, an overhaul of the playback system in Complete View. It's much, much faster performance. You'll see this hopefully come through in the demonstration here, but yeah, the playback performance is dramatically enhanced. Within timeline search, this is where you'll see most of the visual changes in the interface of the products. We've enhanced the GUI, I'll review that with you in the demo. We've added a scrubbing capability. There's a more accurate timeline position, right? And it's very easy to recognize, very intuitive. We've added a reverse playback capability, right? So now you can play forward, you can play in reverse, and there's an individual camera trimming capability. So this is kind of cool. It's like creating a storyboard. If you're trying to play back video across multiple cameras and you see an incident unfold on camera 1, then it moves over to camera 2, and then it moves over to camera 3. In one shot, you can trim all the specific clips of video that you want to make as part of your case within Complete View, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you here in a moment. And that moment has arrived. So let's break out of the presentation, and I'm going to show you the enhanced playback, the web views, maybe some other capabilities within Complete View 7.3. And again, if during the course of the demo you have any questions, locate the questions box in GoToMeeting, type your question there. We'll cover that in a few minutes here. So I'm going to bring up Complete View's desktop client. Here we are on the desktop client. And the first thing I want to show you is the enhanced playback capability, specifically with the timeline search. All right, so let's take a scenario here. Let's say I had someone take a look at the map. Let's say I had somebody walk into my front door, and then they went either left or right. in the video system. I want to do a multi-camera playback using timeline search. So I'm just going to very easily create my own custom view based upon the camera's position on the map. If you're not familiar with what I'm doing here, we call this the GeoView feature. So go ahead and book yourself a one-on-one demo and ask your Salient representative about GeoView. It's really, really cool. I'm going to use GeoView in the context of an investigation. All right, so here's my front door camera, and I'm just holding down the control key and selecting other cameras that I want to play back here. So now you can see I've highlighted camera number 9 with the checkbox, 45, and camera 46. I'm going to right click, go to playback video, and I'm going to go ahead and review that in timeline. So it calls up my 3 cameras. And what I'm going to do, you'll see the interface has changed. Look at the top here. If you're familiar with the timeline interface in older versions of Complete View, where you set the date and time and other filters and so forth, it was all at the bottom of the screen. Now it reads much more like a book. So you start at the top left, you set your time. So I'm going to go to 7:40 a.m. and I'll click OK. And now I'm going to look for all types of video, set my time zone to the server time zone. I'm actually in a different time zone than this recording server. I'll hit the search button. It jumps me to that position in the video. It updates all 3 cameras on the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. If you take a look at the lower right-hand corner of the screen here, you'll see my zoom level. Right now it's set for 2 hours. So if you look at the timeline bar here, you'll see that it covers 2 hours of recording. I want some more detail here. So I'm just going to take this slider bar and move it down a couple of notches so that now that we're looking at 10 minutes on the timeline, okay? You'll see the present position here is indicated by this timeline indicator in the center of the screen here. That doesn't move. In previous versions of Complete View, you would click on this, drag it to the position that you wanted, let go, and then it would update the video to that position. And that wasn't particularly intuitive. What we have in this new version is you grab the timeline itself and move it around. You can see, I hope this is coming through on the webinar, but look at how fluid that video is. You can see the gentleman walking through the front door there. I'm scrubbing forward and backward. We'll go back to our start position there, but that makes it really easy to cover whatever events you want across the cameras. I can also, as you traditionally have been able to do on the timeline, I can see the types of recordings that occurred and when across the different cameras. So I can see there was an alarm event that occurred up on camera, the lobby camera, followed by a motion event on the main hallway camera. So that already kind of tells me that's what I'm looking for, person walking through the door, then going down the hallway. And you can see that right there. Now at the bottom of the screen, we've enhanced the interface down here as well. You have controls for play. If I go ahead and hit play, you can see it toggles to a stop button and the video will play. I can also do that in reverse. See reverse play, you can see the person walking away there, and I can hit stop. In fact, I'll give you a little better view of play and reverse play. There we go. And I can jump to particular events. If I want to go ahead and jump to the next event and jump to the next event, I can do that. And I can see those events very easily here. I'll jump to the next event. And I can navigate backwards by events as well. You'll see these jump buttons. I can jump back and jump forward. If I right click on these buttons, I can set a jump interval. So let's say I was trying to review a long period of video and I wanted to jump around in that video. I can go anywhere between 5 seconds all the way up to a 1 hour jump interval. So if I go ahead and set that for, let's say, 5 minutes, and I jump, you'll see I'm 5 minutes forward in my previous position. I'll jump again. You can see the jump back indicator automatically changed, match my jump forward indicator. That saves you an important click when you're trying to perform an investigation, but still keep an eye on what's going on live. So very cool stuff. I also have the ability to slow or speed up playback. One of the things architecturally in Complete View that you're probably aware of is a feature called dynamic resolution scaling. In dynamic resolution scaling, the end result is dramatic bandwidth savings. It makes video come up faster, especially if you're performing live viewing or investigations of a remote site. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not on site right now, but dynamic resolution scaling is sending me just the resolution necessary to fit within these windows. If I went and exported the video, I get the full resolution video, but it saves a tremendous amount of bandwidth and allows me to play back video, even in an investigation scenario, at faster than 1x speed across multiple cameras. And I can do that with very, very high performance. So I'm going to go to 2x speed, and I'll go ahead and play the video. And there you can see the person walking down the hallway. And if I go to 4x speed, stop that and go play back in reverse, you can see the person coming back out down the hallway. So very, very cool functionality here. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. One of the other important export features, let me highlight a couple of these cameras that I want to perform an export on. So you can see when I highlight a camera, again, I'm just holding down the control key and clicking on them. You'll see the title bar of the camera changes color, indicating it's been highlighted. And then I have a couple of export options up here. I can export the full timeline, which would be from this position to that position, a full 10 minutes in this case, of all the selected cameras in one click of a mouse. Or I can come up here and do a trim and export. I'm going to click trim and export. And you can see it gives me these black indicators around the timeline here. And I can select my start position and end position for the export. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose to, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, trim those cameras individually. Because you can see the video that I want starts about there, ends about there on the first camera, and starts about here and ends there on the second camera. So I've just kind of created my video evidence storyboard using this trim individually feature. So you can imagine if I was following this person across even more cameras, I might have a third camera down here where the video shows up in this position, another camera where the video shows up in this position. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit this check mark, and that trims the video. Now those video recordings are available in my export queue, and I can go off to another area of complete view and continue my investigation. So here I've just clicked on the export queue. I don't have to worry about losing out on this video. I can in fact review the event right here. There's the first event I was looking for. Here's the second event I was looking for. And now I can go off to another area of complete view and continue my investigation. Let's go back to live view. And I want to show you the web views capability. Okay, so here we are back in live view. I'm going to expand web views. And you can see I have access to a number of web views here. Again, this is all secure. These are all permission for my particular user account. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on this Iron View web views, and you'll see in the lower right-hand corner, we still have access to video and events like you saw before, but now we have a new tab here. So I can flip between these tabs, not lose access to anything I want to see in the system, and I have this Iron View demo. So I'm going to go ahead and log into it. And it brings me into the system. You can see it's kind of a small area of the screen here. So what I actually want to do is grab this and pull it out. Here now I have a larger display. I can make this any size I want to. I can drag it off to another screen if I choose to, and I still have access to complete view in the background. One of the things that I noted previously is that all these sites are permissioned. So if I wanted to go anywhere, I can't, I don't know if you can hear me clicking the keyboard there, but I can't type over that URL. I can navigate within the site, like if I wanted to go to the license plate recognition screen as an example, or I can go back to the video search screen. I can also open up other web views. So let's take a look at the National Weather Service radar map. So I just right click, I open that in a new tab. So it opens in this web view window in a new tab. I can flip back and forth between those tabs. And all the features that you would normally have in a web browser, you have in web views. Again, it's just built for a security system, so it doesn't let me go to Facebook or YouTube. And if I wanted to perform an investigation, let's say I want to find somebody on a motorcycle that's wearing blue with a backpack as an example, I'll just go ahead and search that here. Oops. And again, I still have complete view over here in the background, but I'm utilizing my third-party system in the foreground. Take a look at that. There's a person with a backpack and a motorcycle wearing blue, so kind of neat. So very, very powerful way to integrate multiple systems directly in the complete view interface. Let me show you another playback feature. Let's kind of bounce around to one of the playback capabilities. I'm going to go to this view layout. And here's my front door camera. I had mentioned when we were talking about some of the analytic events, actually, let me start on a different camera, my apologies. I'm gonna come to this screen here. All right, you see this manufacturing door. I'm gonna right click on it and go ahead to search by list. This manufacturing door has it's integrated via the OnVIF driver, and it has a camera analytic that detects loitering. Okay, I added a custom alias to that camera analytic called, well, I just typed in loitering detected, so I'm going to type in the word, partial keyword here, loit. You can see I didn't even hit enter, and it automatically filtered my list of events down to just those that have loitering detected. So I'll just go ahead and choose this event as an example. You can see there's, this was, let's see here, 7:23 p.m. last night, so that must be somebody doing the office cleaning in the evening. And I'm able to filter my list down just to those events that are relevant to me now if I wanted to go ahead and capture that event. Again, same workflow that you're accustomed to. I'll trim this clip to the positions that I'm interested in, click the check mark, and now that video is part of my export queue. Now, one of the other cool enhancements in this search by list area is not just the ability to identify these events and tag them with a custom alias, but let me go to another camera here. All right, this is a front door lobby camera, and this is integrated with access control. I had mentioned earlier in the presentation that there's this keyword search enhancement. I can filter all these search results down to just the results that I'm interested in. If I hover over one of these descriptions, this is information that is submitted to Complete View by the corresponding access control system. You can see it gives me details that tell me, if you look at the end, it says front entry in Sam Smith. So if I was just looking for events from Sam Smith, or let's say Bob Wilbur, I'll type in Wilbur, and it instantly filters down the list to just events that relate to Bob. So I'll click on the first one here, and there he is walking out the front door. So again, very powerful feature. When you start connecting systems into Complete View, not only do you get a single pane of glass, but you get metadata and other details from those third-party systems that allow you to perform faster investigations and make sure operators are aware of the security scenario unfolding in front of them. Now, one of the last things I want to show you, if we go into configuration here, just want to cover the configuration side of what we just took a look at. So here we are on the configuration screen. If you're not familiar with it, take a look over on the left. We have this navigation panel here. You can see at the top I have kind of the high level settings, and as I work my way down, I get more and more granular. Well, if I come into views, let's see here. Okay, you can see I have this web views capability, and if I click on my Salient HQ site, I can associate web views to that site specifically. If I choose to, I can also associate web views generically for the system as a whole. So you have different options as how you to organize them. And I'll come in and click on one of these web views. We'll choose the brief cam one as an example. You can see it's a very simple configuration. I can choose to enable or disable the web view. I give it a custom name. I define the URL, and I can choose whether or not to enable audio. And I just hit this preview button here. It gives me a preview of what the page will look like to the user. That does not allow the user to navigate outside of this main page. And then I can go into the permissions for a particular user and assign any of the users on the system access to that web view, just like you would assign access to any other element of Complete View, whether it's a camera or a site or a view or a map. So very cool there. One of the other things I wanted to show is a camera integration. So if we come here, so I can connect any of these cameras via OnVIF. If I choose the generic driver and an OnVIF camera, it gives me the ability to connect into all of these various video streams. I can reconfigure them from this interface. I can assign a primary and a secondary stream. I can choose what types of recording will occur on which particular streams. Then I can come to the events screen, and you can see I have all these various events here associated with the camera. And if I want to alarm on a particular event, let's say abandon detector, object abandon. I can type in an alias here, object removed from scene, exclamation. And then when the event occurs in the camera, I can just record the fact that that event occurred, or I can cause it to trigger an alarm or motion event in complete view, and all the things that occur as a result of that, visual notifications in the software, alerts and notifications and recording can occur on that particular event. This will be logged within Complete View's events. I can search on it, and I can use this event alias as a friendly way to search keywords that make sense to the operators of the system. So very cool functionality. Now let's go back into the webinar. Okay. Oh, now it's time for the secret code. Everybody take a look at your questions box, and the secret code is better, faster investigations. So first two people to type that into the questions box will be winners. And unfortunately, if you haven't typed it in yet, you're a little too late. So let's see who our two winners are. It looks like the first winner is Nathan Durr. So congratulations, Nathan. And our second winner is Bo Reed. So congratulations, Nathan. Congratulations, Bo. We will get your information and send you out a gift card. You'll receive those end of this week, early next week. So thanks everybody for participating in that. Let's continue on here. The last thing I want to cover that's part of the 7.3 release, in fact, it's available on our website right now, is the Gap Finder utility. This is a new utility. It works with Complete View version 5, version 6, and version 7. So even if you aren't upgraded to version 7.3, aren't ready to make that change, you can still get benefit from this in your older deployments of Complete View. So what does it do? It allows you to search part or all of your Complete View deployment for any gaps in recording, okay? So it tells you what has and what has not been recorded on a per camera basis. You can scan across all of your recorders in the system or any select number of those. You can export your results to a CSV file. You can also define what is a gap, right? Is a gap 1 second? Is a gap 7 minutes of lost video? And it will report on all that to you. You can export it to a CSV file and send it off. You utilize that CSV as kind of a common universal format and other types of reporting and recording systems. But this is an important tool if you are subject to any type of SLAs with your surveillance system or regulatory ramifications. This is a very important tool for you to utilize to see if you're getting the correct kind of recordings. If you notice too many gaps on a particular camera, that's a great troubleshooting tool to go and take a look at what's going on between the connection with the camera and the recording server. All right, so that covers the information we want to convey, the latest and greatest features of Complete View 7.2 and 7.3. So if you're on an SMA from Salient, you're ready to upgrade to 7.3, you can go to salientsys.com, go under support and software downloads, and download a copy of 7.3 today. Now let's take a look at Salient Cloud Services. If you've been following cloud services, we have some important updates for you. It's now officially launched. If you want to utilize the free or paid cloud services, you can do that. Let me cover what this is for you in today's presentation. So Salient Cloud Services is now generally available. You can use it to remotely access your system securely and easily. You can also use it to gain access to a web-based dashboard. So what is it? There's kind of two elements to it. So I'm going to go bottom up on this slide here. Let's take a look where it says free. Any user of Complete View 7 and higher can connect their system to Salient Cloud Services. I'm going to walk you through that process. It shouldn't take more than 5 or 6 minutes. With that initial cloud connection, there's no cost. You get a web dashboard with all your asset and license information. That web dashboard, you can access it at cloud.salientsys.com. You just log in with the user account that you created. You can see all the nuances of your deployment. So if you got 5 sites, you can click on any individual site. You can see, okay, this recording server has 100 licenses. I'm only utilizing 95 of those licenses. I've got 5 free. I can also share that information with an integrator. And you can do that on a site-by-site basis, right? So if I have, of those 5 sites, 3 are managed by one security systems integrator, and 2 are managed by another, I can allow access to that information to those respective integrators, And now the integrators have more detail of my system, which makes their support process faster and easier. There's also a paid version of Salient Cloud Services, okay? And what that gives you is, in the simplest terms, a simple and secure remote access to Complete View. So you pay for Salient Cloud Services remote access, you check a box in the software, you enable remote access for certain user accounts in the software, and those user accounts can now log into Complete View anywhere they have an internet connection. They don't have to be on the main corporate network to gain access to Complete View. The IT department didn't have to poke any holes in the firewall. You didn't have to set up a custom VPN solution to gain access to Complete View. And everything is securely shared. So anything you normally do, from viewing live video to performing investigations to upgrading software to doing other maintenance and monitoring tasks, you can do through Salient Cloud Services. So it's a very, very cool capability. So here's some examples: remote management, maintenance, video viewing. It's super secure and it's very low latency. In fact, that low latency is something we're very proud of. I think when we were testing Salient Cloud Services, it was sub 1 second latency compared to local area network connections. So very, very fast system. Okay, here's some use cases. Now, if you are a consumer video management software, consider this for your own organization. If you're an integrator, you may have customers that could benefit from some of these use cases. First of all, supporting remote users. Do you have security or facility staff that travel to various sites? Well, it may benefit them to have remote access to the video system. It allows for the performing of quick video verification of security incidents when not on site. You have centralized investigators, right? If those investigators aren't on site, if your investigations operation is not staffed 24/7, you may have an emergency where somebody's going to go in and take a look at an incident, pull some recordings. Salient Cloud Services makes it very easy to access that remotely and securely. Here's a good one: integrator remote support, right? You can also have accounts in Complete View for your integrator partners. Those integrator partners may have to perform maintenance. Well, imagine using Salient Cloud Services if you can have that integrator partner avoid a truck roll, right? This saves cost for the integrator, it saves time for the consumer, and it saves cost for the consumer as well. And then finally, first responder access to video surveillance in the case of an emergency. This is very important, especially this day and age. So you can enable cloud access. You can create a username and password and give that to anyone that you want to access the video remotely and securely. So let's see how it works. Take a look at the bottom of the slide here underneath the dashed line. Okay, you can see this would be your traditional deployment of Complete View. You have your local area network. On that local area network, you have management servers, you have recording servers, and you have your clients that can access the live or recorded video. Now, if you look above that dashed line, you can see there's Salient Cloud Services. This is an arrow between the management server and Salient Cloud Services. That represents the ability to register, and you can do that at no cost. You just do that in your Complete View deployment. There's nothing to order, there's nothing to buy, there's nothing to license. Okay, what that gives you access to is this web dashboard. You can see at the top of the screen, so you instantly gain access to the web dashboard. Now, if you want to take it the next step, there's a secure subscription service. Okay, so within the web dashboard, you can click. You have the ability to order the subscription service. What that does is it starts a process that ultimately results in a quote that goes out to the consumer via their registered integrator. For Salient Cloud Services, if they elect to order that Salient Cloud Services, that will enable remote management. Now, if you take a look at the upper left-hand side of the screenshot, you can see desktop, web, and mobile clients with Complete View can now access the Complete View deployment that's on the LAN and have access to the full suite of tools that they always had in the past, whether it's viewing live video, performing investigations, performing management and maintenance tasks, system monitoring. All of those things can be done. No direct connection is made from outside the network to inside the network. Everything is done via Salient Cloud Services as an intermediary. Salient Cloud Services is further protected by things like a distributed denial of service, attack filter, port range filter. Only Complete View can communicate in and out of Salient Cloud Services, TLS certification check, and so forth. So it's completely secure. We went above and beyond to ensure the security of your network. All right, so what does it look like registering for Salient Cloud Services? Let's take a look at that process. So you go to cloud.salientsys.com. So everybody can do that right now and register an account, right? You click to register an account, and it brings you to this screen. So you can see I filled out this form with basic information, like signing up for any other website, putting your name, your phone number, your email, your password, and you hit register. And that brings you to the next screen where you're going to verify your email. So you get an email to whatever email address you put on the registration screen. You click verify email. It takes you to the next step in the process. You select whether you're an end user of Complete View or you're an integrator. Remember, end users can share parts of their deployment with integrators, so it's important for integrators to also have accounts at cloud.salientsys.com to take advantage of the web dashboard for their consumers' deployments. If I continue registering as end user, it just asks for some more contact details and site details. I hit register, and then I can connect the deployment using the desktop client. So you'll see here I am in my desktop client. I've gone to the configure screen. I've clicked on the cloud services option over on the left, and it shows me this screen here. And in the center of the screen, you say connect system to Salient Cloud. All I do is I put in a deployment name, what I want to call it in the cloud, and I put in the email and password that I created at cloud.salientsys.com. I agree to the terms of service, and I hit connect. And then it brings me to this screen. It shows my registration status is registered. And in this case, I've subscribed to remote access. You can see that is subscribed. That is also enabled in my deployment. I can deregister at any time. I can refresh my registration with new information if I choose to. And that's it. It's like signing up for any other web page on the internet. Okay, so what's new and enhanced? If you've been following Salient Cloud Services, in the past, we've talked about how the best use case is not streaming video 24/7. That has changed. Our engineers have enhanced the deployment. We now support 24/7 video streaming, so there's no bandwidth limitations or anything like that. If you want to use it for remote access into sites for your security operations center and view video from those sites 24/7, you can easily do that with Salient Cloud Services. So very, very cool enhancement. Now let's take a look at that web dashboard in Salient Cloud Services. Now again, you can register very easily. I'm going to come into configuration. I'm going to go to Cloud Services here. Just kind of show you what that screen looks like. You saw a screenshot on the previous page here. So here I can create a cloud service account. I click that, it'll bring me to the corresponding web page. You can see I've already done that and registered, so it brings me to this screen where it shows me my registration status. I have remote access enabled. Now let's go and take a look at the web dashboard, right? So I've already created an account. See, my account here is end user at salientsys.com, so this represents an end user account. I'm gonna go ahead and log in. And it brings me to my deployment dashboard. You can see that at the top of the screen here. And I have a number of deployments. The one I want to take a look at is the Salient demo server. And it gives me a lot of kind of high-level information right off the bit here. So you can see the version of software deployed is 7.3. I can see how many servers are in the deployment. There's 5. I have a total of 700 licenses, of which I'm using 138. You can see for this site, I have remote access enabled. It is running. And for this site in particular, you can see integrator organization. I have it connected with an integrator called VMS Solutions, okay? If I wanted to connect an integrator to any of these sites, I can just click this connection management and invite an integrator based on their email address. And I can also see details for the site. You can see because I have remote access enabled, I can take a look at this remote access info, and you can see it gives me the gateway info here, okay? So logging into Salient Cloud Services with remote access is very, very simple. If you're familiar with logging into Complete View, I'm gonna log out now. For every client, whether it's the desktop, web, or mobile client, it requires you enter a management server. So the only difference logging Complete View locally versus through cloud services is changing that management server. So once I subscribe to Salient Cloud Services, it gives me this new management server here. I'm just going to copy it to the clipboard, or I can open it directly in the web client. Then I can come back here and simply paste it into this screen. And log in. And now I'll be connected to Complete View through Salient Cloud Services. So everything is encrypted. and protected. My user account has permissions for Salient Cloud Service, and I can perform any of the actions that I would normally perform locally on the LAN through Salient Cloud Services. Let's go back to the web dashboard here. So I'm going to get out of this gateway info screen, and I'll expand my deployment. You can see now I can see all the details of those 5 servers in the deployment. I can see whether or not they have remote access enabled, specific versions of software. For any of these servers, you can see licensing info like product ID, how many analog or IP licenses they have. I can click on details of the particular server. I can see things like its host name, its product ID, license type, license count, the operating system version, all the ports that are opened, and the time zone of the server. I can take those details and download them as a CSV file. You can see it gives me a CSV file at the bottom of the screen there, so that's very useful for sharing these details with others. I can see feature key information. I get those details per site or overall for the installation, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and log out. And you could see there that the VMS Solutions integrator had access to 2 of those sites for this particular end user. So I'm going to log in now as that integrator. And you can see the integrator view. I have 3 customers here that are giving me permission to see their deployments in Salient Cloud Services. I got Teddy's Tex-Mex, Salient Systems, that's what we were just looking at as an end user, and Betty's Barbecue. So I'm going to expand Salient System. And there's 2 deployments with 7 recorders and 166 cameras. I'll click Details. And it brings me to that kind of same look and feel that we saw on the other screens. Now I have access to all these details of the end user's deployment. I have access to remote access info. So if that end user gave me a login to remotely access deployment, now I can go in and perform maintenance and checks on the system and be a little more proactive or avoid a truck roll to the site to help the user with troubleshooting or reconfiguration. So very, very cool stuff. All right, let's go back to the presentation and wrap things up here. We're going to talk, our last section is Power Protect updates, okay? We have launched a new next generation Power Choice. So if you're familiar, Power Choice is the entry-level system in our lineup of servers. You can see on the slide here, there's the speeds and beats of the last generation Power Choice and the new next generation Power Choice. A couple of things I want to highlight. We've enhanced the processor with a 12th gen Core i3 processor, much, much faster than the older Core i5 processor. We've doubled the RAM, went from 4 to 8 gigabytes. We've also enhanced the storage. I can see a typo on the slide there, so forgive me. The last gen Power Choice went up to 12 terabytes of storage. The next gen Power Choice allows you to go up to 200 terabytes of storage, 20 terabytes of storage. There's also a dedicated OS drive in this next generation Power Choice, and we've enhanced all the display ports and so forth as well. One of the key factors of this next generation Power Choice is it's an average of 50% faster than the last generation Power Choice. So if you used to get 20 cameras in the system, now you might be able to expect 30 cameras in the system. Of course, use Salient's design tool wizard to identify the correct camera count for your deployment. But that's just an example. So we've enhanced the speed dramatically and the functionality of the system, more speed and more storage. We've also launched a next generation guard station. This is a professional video monitoring and investigations workstation that you can add to your deployments for security operations center needs. So the last generation guard station was a Core i5. We've upgraded to a 12th gen Core i5, much faster, doubled the RAM. We've also adjusted the display port. So in the past, you used to have to order a guard station with either DisplayPort monitor connectivity or HDMI monitor connectivity. Now we just include HDMI and DisplayPort adapters in the box, so there's just one option to order, which gives you all the previous functionality. So very, very cool enhancement. We're coming close to the end of time here. So again, if you have a question about any of these Power Protect updates, type that in the questions box. Otherwise, I'm going to move straight on to reminding you that you can connect one-on-one with a Salient expert. So again, if you enjoyed today's content, you want to learn more about Complete View, go to resources.salientsys.com/demo and get a one-on-one demo with a Salient expert. Also, one other thing I want to point out is we've recorded this webinar. So if you have a colleague that could benefit from the information that we shared here but wasn't able to attend, let them know that they will have access later this week to the recorded webinar on salientsys.com, okay? All right, now let's get to some questions here. I don't think we're going to get a chance to go to all the questions, so if we don't cover your question, don't worry, we'll follow up with you by email after the webinar. Okay, first question here. This relates to the ability to move cameras. I talked earlier about how you can move cameras up and down the list. Cameras are associated with an ID, and now there's also in the background a GUID, and the question is, where do you see the GUID for each camera? There's probably a few places to see it. The place that I know off the top of my head is, if you're familiar with the recording architecture of Complete View, you know that in a storage volume, you will see a list of folders, and previously those folders were the camera ID and the date, and now there's a top level folder with the camera GUID. Then you go into that and you see the date for each day's worth of recordings for that camera. That's one place to see the GUID. I'm sure there's other places as well, so I'll follow up by email afterwards and give you some more information. Okay, next question here. This relates to the enhanced camera analytics functionality. Are there any differences between camera manufacturers insofar as the functionality is concerned? So great question, and the answer is yes. So any camera manufacturer that supports ONVIF, we can connect to those cameras, get the live video, pull recorded video, but we can also get the events from the camera. And that's where you're going to see a lot of difference in functionality. As long as they have basic ONVIF support, they should implement support for the ability to transmit their list of events, so we should be able to pull that dynamically. We put a lot of effort into enhancing that in this release, but the types of events that you'll see and the types of analytics available will vary based upon the camera you have. In fact, some manufacturers, Axis is one that comes to mind, if you want particular analytics, you need to upload them to the camera, so out of the box it may not have the full list of things that you want to achieve. So those are some considerations with camera manufacturers and ONVIF analytics. Okay, one other question. This relates to the enhanced playback experience. I think at one point I was talking about how when I was trimming individually per camera, exporting video from multiple cameras simultaneously, I showed those various clips on the export queue screen. And the question here is more general for Complete View. Can you send the clips, the exported clips, with a native viewer rather than kind of a generic video viewer like Windows Media Player or VLC? And the answer is yes. In fact, there's a checkbox on the export queue screen where you can choose the Salient native player to be exported along with the video, so you have one folder with all of the files, the exported clips, along with the native player. The Salient player, which is called Video Player, gives you access to a lot of features that a generic player like Windows Media Player doesn't. It allows you to frame by frame, advance and reverse, faster than 1x playback, gives you the ability to digitally zoom. If you export a video from a 360 panoramic camera, it will be de-warped in the player. You can also verify the video has not been tampered with using a verify option. Okay, it's a great question. Let's see. Okay, question here. When you select clips to put into an export queue, is there a way to combine all the clips into one file? That's a great question. The answer is yes, with an asterisk. So not in the way that you're thinking, but Complete View has a feature. It's actually been a long time feature of Complete View called I'm having a brain gap here. We have a feature that allows you, when viewing live video, to add cameras into it's a hotspot window. Add cameras into a hotspot window. It's Quick Track. Quick Track is the word I'm trying to think of. We have a feature in Complete View called Quick Track. You can create a Quick Track window in a live video view and drag and drop cameras into that Quick Track window. It kind of allows like a hotspot view of those cameras, right? So if you want to blow up video during a live video investigation, you do that in the Quick Track window. But in the background, all of those clips that you put in the Quick Track window are recording as one continuous video file. Now, in the context of what we presented today, when you have a bunch of clips in the export queue, They do not combine as one individual file. They stay as individual camera files. There's some technical nuances that are important, like different camera resolutions and so forth when it comes to combining video together, and then modifying the evidence on export that are considerations for that. However, the video player application, the Salient native player, gives you that one view across all those camera clips. So you bring all those camera clips in the video player, and it will play them individually in chronological order. So whatever video clip occurred first in time will play first, and then we'll move on to the next one, and so on and so forth, just as if you had combined all those clips into one file. So that's a great question there. Okay, let's grab one more question. We're at the end of our time here, and then if we didn't catch your question, we will follow up after the course of the exchange event by email. Okay, great question here. Can the gap finder run unattended? In other words, provide a daily 24-hour report that is emailed to the security person or IT staff. So great question. The gap finder in its initial version is intended to run upon user action, right? So you open the gap finder utility, you point it, you set your report parameters, and you click to run a report. So that is a really cool idea though. So we're gonna add that to our idea box for our product roadmap. So thank you for that information and feedback there. Okay, so we're going to end the webinar here. I want to take a moment to thank everyone for attending. Again, if you have a colleague that could benefit from this information, the recorded version will be on our website later this week. But with that, I want to wish everybody a great rest of the week. Thanks, everybody. Take care.